Hello and welcome back to Daring and Doing. I'm Will Hester and I'm joined by Ben Bowman, the brilliant Ben Bowman. How you doing, mate?
I
forgot.
Everyone should know that I actually tell Will to say that before we start. We can't
start
the
contract.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I'll just fuck off and do another podcast because they're all queuing up apparently.
Sound the pot. Oh yeah. Sound the contract, big boy. Sound the contract. Wait. Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
I'm not fucking leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
The show goes on.
Yeah.
Ben, did you see the links with Gallagher may not be dead?
This transfer saga makes me want to die. There is a chance I could well be dead before Conor Gallagher signs for fucking Atletico Madrid or Tottenham.
Oh yeah, mate, it's still there, mate. It's apparently people are saying it's at the moment it's collapsed at the moment.
Yeah,
but I said, mate, apparently Jorge Mendes, yeah, he's in between. Who is it? Todd Bowley, just making that deal happen. Yeah, just making that deal happen for João Neves. Fucking João Neves. Yeah, Felix.
Didn't realise he was at PSG. Did he sign for PSG?
Yeah. That would be a twist. But no, João Felix, yeah. So, but mate, what a fucking terrible organisation, Chelsea. I feel like we do this every single like stream now. It's so bad. It's so like there's no plan there at all. They're buying fucking João Felix now just because.
They do because they need
and his
to.
wages are going to be like astronomical as well.
They don't need him, but they need to buy him to stop the Gallagher deal. That is just like that sums up Chelsea in a nutshell. They're buying a player because they have to, but they don't need him. But because it means that they can sell one of their academy players to that, it's absolutely bonkers.
City like best player last year as well.
Yeah, exactly. City must be looking at that with Alvarez, thinking, "Fuck, come on, lads, like what is going on?" Because that affects that as well, doesn't it? Is it Omaridion? Or is that like a flavor or something?
I think so.
Like, it sounds like a drink, doesn't it? Like an orange sort of drink. I've never heard of that guy before he signed for Chelsea. Never heard of him.
Well, apparently he scored like 6 goals or something in La Liga last year. It's like fucking hell, 60 mil. I mean, must be good. It has gone to shit. They didn't do it. I don't even actually understand why they didn't do it. But yeah, anyways, enough about Chelsea. That's fucking diabolical situation over there. But I just feel like it will be like the year is 2035 and Tottenham are still keeping an eye on the Gallagher situation. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be like that for the rest of the rest of his career. He's always going to be linked to Spurs. It's not going to happen. João Felix is probably going to go around. Fucking hell, Real Madrid. When did that come from?
Mate, I've got that. I've had that this morning as well. I did a stream earlier and I was disgraced. I just could not get my words out.
I actually think it's the heat.
Yeah. We had this a few weeks ago where we recorded a podcast. It was like we were both just dying.
Do you want to see the fucking sweat marks underneath?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, subscribe on YouTube so you can actually go and see Will's sweaty pits. We're at 450 subs now. So telling people to subscribe actually works.
Yeah, keep it coming, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, telling people or threatening people, because we could do that as well.
Yeah. Fucking subscribe.
You bunch of pricks.
Oh yeah, I actually, guys, I'm so sorry. I might have to get my tits out, okay?
Yeah,
because it is well hot in here, and I've got the fan on. Hopefully, you can't hear it, but hopefully, I could still. Hopefully, I can still talk and pronounce my words and that.
To be fair, I'm just getting up the. I don't want to expose my location, but I'm not. Anyone cares. It is 30 degrees.
30, yeah. And also, if you go outside, I went outside for the first time like this weekend. It's a Monday, but yeah. And oh my god, it's mental out there. It feels like you know when you get off the airplane and you go on holiday and that atmosphere hits you, like the humidity hits you. Yeah, and it's not even necessarily the heat. It's just like the air is different. It's like that outside. It's nice.
I've had that. I've said that to my missus so many times when we've gone places and just feels like I'm on holiday. And then she's like, "When you book one?" Then I'm just like, "Get off my back."
Yeah.
It is very hot. Yeah. It is very hot. I had barbecue yesterday. That was.
I saw that on your Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Mate, I haven't had a barbecue this summer either. Fucking hell, I feel like I wasted the summer. Ben, you were at the Bayern Munich game yesterday. Yeah. Before we actually get into the specifics of the game, how was it being back at the stadium, and also how did it feel seeing Kane in the flesh again?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was
really emotional now because
you become emotional. Stop, and he'll be fine. It was great. It was so nice, and it was a lovely. Nothing beats going to Tottenham when it's in the sunshine. August, those first few home games of the season, like I'm buzzing for Everton in a couple of weeks. It was so nice to be back. Pints, goals. We lost, obviously. Still conceding from corners. But it was a lovely day back at the big THS, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Joe, can I just say a quick point on that? Right, I uploaded a video on YouTube about Solanke, or it might have been on a TikTok. I'd said about White Hart Lane. I said Solanke coming to White Hart Lane. Right, the amount of comments I got from people going like, it's actually Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And it's like,
shut up, you fucking dick.
Does anybody actually call it? Can we let us know in the comments? Does anybody actually refer to it as Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Nobody does. Everyone calls it White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
I'd say it's
the heritage of the club, isn't it?
Yeah, we didn't move. We're still there. It's not the Emirates.
Yeah.
We didn't move. We're playing on exactly the same site, just shifted around a bit.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
No,
it's White Hart Lane.
Yeah, it was very good to be back at White Hart Lane. And Kane, it was. Do you know what? I made a TikTok about this last week. I might have said it on the stream about the fact that I got over Harry Kane quite quickly. I actually just did. I don't know whether it's because the saga was quite messy and it dragged on and whatever, but I got over it pretty quickly, and that made it on Saturday actually have it. It made me actually be able to have I actually quite enjoyed it. It was quite nice seeing him there rather than just being like, oh God, I miss him so much. I'm like, I've made my bed with it. It was done. It was done a year ago. And it's like, you have to move on from these players. And I think obviously the way we started last season kind of helped in terms of okay, this is Sonny's team. This is Postecoglou's team. This is a new Tottenham. And look, he'd be amazing for us. Of course he would. But, you have to move on with these players. But it was actually that for me kind of almost made me be able to enjoy seeing him more. I thought it was quite nice. A lot of it was very lovely, I thought.
Yeah, that time in between, a whole year's gone by. It doesn't hurt as much, does it? You can just appreciate him for being a legend. I to be honest, I wasn't that phased before the game thinking, oh, Kane's come back. I wasn't really thinking about it. I didn't think it was obviously very sentimental, but I didn't care that much about him. I more wanted to I was more excited about say Solanke and stuff like that. And actually, seeing Spurs play, but I feel like Solanke coming in the same day Kane comes back, there's a nice sort of romance to that, because it's okay, we're not replacing Kane, but we are now moving on to a different mold of striker because we're playing a different way. And sorry, my girlfriend's just calling me. I feel like also it was almost like a funeral, when you needed that closure. It happened just before the start of the season last year. It was a bit messy when it was a bit crazy, and then obviously we were just straight away handball, and we had to move on really quick. So that sort of closure, seeing him in the flesh at the stadium again, him giving Lancashire a handshake, him hugging Son, I feel like it was a sort of catharsis that we needed. We didn't know we needed, but we needed. And now it's okay, let's move on. Now Solanke's in. Said hello to Solanke. Big Dom Solanke, and now we can move on with our lives. It's such a tune. It's such a good chant, isn't it? So yeah,
I'm sure we'll be able to get that one going at the stadium. It won't just be "Come on, you Spurs."
Yeah, actually, we've both got two strikers with unbelievable chants, haven't we?
Yeah, we do.
And Solanke, but actually, I think
if you're going to count Kulusevski, because he's played and he scored 2 goals, we've got 3 strikers with quality chants. Nobody sings the Kulusevski one. It never happens in the stadium unless you're away. If Kulusevski scores and you're away, the away fans sing it like the gimme. Never goes off at Spurs.
It should do. Imagine that ringing around what, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that like ringing around. Like,
there's not a soul out there.
It should have gone. It should have happened yesterday. I was disappointed. What were your takeaways from the game then? Like, what were the positives and the negatives, do you think? And actually, we've got a question about corners, because I feel like you're about to say corners, because I mean, and set pieces specifically, because which again, just fucking shit, wasn't it? We got a question from. Let me get it up. It was 1991 semi. What type of semi are you talking about? He said on Twitter. He said, would a set piece coach really make a difference to our defending, or are we flawed with players that are not quite Premier League levels of elite when it comes to attacking cross balls? I mean, I thought that was a good question, because obviously, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we have quite a tall team, but they're a slight team. They're not dominant. They're not physical when in the air. But I mean, Solanke could be that. I think it is a personnel issue. It's much. Thing is, I think the game is moving towards having physical players alongside really good set piece tactics and set piece movements and moves and sort of.
Look at Arsenal.
And I think exactly they've combined the two, and that's the only way they score at the moment. So I feel like it's a bit of both. I think this personnel isn't there, and I think if you look at the players we have brought in, Gray, Bergvall, Solanke, they're all big, and actually I was worried about Pedro Neto, because that right hand side as well, people could just attack that with physicality of Porro and Neto. So I think our recruitment's we've aimed towards sort of bigger players for set pieces especially, but I still think we need to be. I mean, how many times was the back post just completely open? Like that, we got to do something to sort of adjust to the tactics to manage a game like that, because it was unmanageable at times. Spence was, I don't know whether it was Spence, I don't know if it was, I think there was times where there was too many players overloading the midfield, and it would drag a centre back out to them, and then Spence would tuck in, leaving at least one or two people like coming into the back post, and that happened about 5 times in the first half.
Yeah.
Second half, not as much. We had a much more solid defense. Why are we seeing that? Is that a concern going into the season? And then obviously this question as well about, like, do you think a set piece coach would really make a difference, or do you think it's personnel? Sorry, I just threw about 20 questions at you, but
no, I think it's a mixture of both, because I think it's. When I was chatting in one of my Spurs group chats with some people on half time on Saturday when the game was going on, and I said that I think the biggest problem, or one of the biggest problems that Spurs will have next season, is obviously set pieces, but it will also be if Ange kind of continues this like laissez-faire attitude towards them, and it doesn't really matter, and we've got bigger priorities and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully. Saturday was a personnel issue, and when we actually have Romero, who there was a tweet from Jack Enochout, who I know listens to the pod. He tweeted saying Romero is to Tottenham's defence what Kane was to our attack for years. Only player that wins a header, and then the most press resistant defender. And obviously, if you're talking about set pieces, he is one of the only ones that goes and attacks the ball. Van der Ven is 6'3", like 6'4" maybe. He's not that great in the air, and he's quite easy to get around him, and almost maybe because he's quite tall, and got quite that gangly frame, maybe it's harder for him. I feel like it was such a bizarre thing with Tottenham set pieces, because we were not talking about this up until that Man City FA Cup game. Spurs I don't think we conceded a goal from a set piece, or hardly any chances from set pieces up until that point. And it's almost like teams found a bit of a blind spot with Vicario, and then even when teams weren't targeting that, after it was about a month period where he was getting bombarded, like the Everton
did the same. Yeah, fucking hell.
Like they were all going for him, and then it sort of stopped happening. And then, even then, it was almost like we lost all of our confidence in being able to defend set pieces because of that. And Ange last season was coming out and saying that, look, we've got bigger things to focus on, and it's not a massive issue. It's like, well, it is a massive issue if you're going to start conceding 3 or 4 goals a game. And you can't defend. Again, defending the back post was a problem towards the end of last season without a doggy, when you've not got a natural player on that side. Because I remember the Liverpool game at Anfield where Emerson was playing over there, and the amount of space that was being left for Salah. Obviously, he had a terrible game that day anyway, but in terms of leaving that space in behind, and it was from open play as well. Like you said, it wasn't just set pieces that a lot of space was being left. But the set piece thing is, especially like when you look at Arsenal, and you kind of alluded to it before about mixing those big physical players with techie, like ballers, like your Odegaards, your kind of like Saka, Saka is kind of deceptively quite strong. So is Odegaard, really, to be fair. But like if you look at that back four, for example, and you look at what they did to us at home, 2 goals from corners, and then a goal on the counter-attack, it's like they're just like, it's just a cheat code to be able to be good. Like they scored 2 goals from set pieces in the first 25 minutes, 2 identical goals from corners in the first 25 minutes of their friendly yesterday against Seville, was it? Who was it against? Leon, I think. Yeah. And it's like, when you've got Calafiori, Ben White, Saliba and Gabriel all lining up, and then you're looking at Tottenham thinking, how the fuck are we going to defend this? That game is coming around very quickly. And it's like, you shouldn't just focus on it for the Arsenal game. But the Arsenal game will, we're going to be going into that game a little bit like it was towards the end of last season, where every time they get a corner, you think, we're going to concede.
Penalty.
It's literally like a penalty. And it's like,
I was
ridiculous.
Yeah. I was like fuming every time we conceded a set piece, thinking we're fucked. And actually, I think was it twice they scored from like set pieces against us. But I mean, also
Havertz, wasn't it? And the Havertz one was like right under the keeper. It was like, go on. I want to say something about it afterwards.
Yeah.
What was you going to say?
I mean, Declan Rice takes their fucking corners. He would be our most aerially dominant player in a set piece scenario. Do you know what I mean? It's like, fucking hell, how much leverage do you have? But also, I do think when we have a fault and then them lot down the road, that's their strength. It is exacerbated a lot more.
It magnifies it so much.
100%, because you don't like looking at them succeed, especially when that's our weakness. It's horrible. It's really, really horrible. And you crave it so much more because they're scoring from set pieces every game and we're conceding from set pieces every game. So of course it's going to hurt. But what were you saying?
Well, I was going to say, like, you're totally right in terms of it magnifying that, they've got a strength, we've got a weakness. And it's like, we know that strength can expose our weakness, but it's also, you don't want to see them doing well. So it does magnify it even more. But also, like, and again, we don't want to sit here and give too much credit to Arsenal, but the thing in what they've done really well, and what frustrates me even more, is that when Ange took over, in terms of establishing a style and identity, I think we're actually ahead of where they were when Arteta came in. Because partly, I think Ange inherited a better squad, but also like he carried nowhere near as much credibility as Arteta did. So the scrutiny was massively on Ange. So you can weigh up better squad versus expectation kind of thing. Or maybe not expectation, but you know what I mean? But what's really frustrating is that the thing Arsenal have done really well over the last few years, not just improving in terms of the way they play great football, obviously, but it's just those small marginal gains, those things that like you said, they've kind of mixed that, that ability to play lovely football with being physical, nasty cunts. Like that's what they've done really well. And that's what Tottenham need to do. We've got Romero who does it, but it's not just about being nasty and being imposing, but it's just about like making the most of certain opportunities. And Spurs don't do that. We do not do that from set pieces in terms of attacking set pieces or defending set pieces. It's almost like we're scared to go and win that ball. It's I don't know if it's a mindset thing or not. And I think again, like hopefully, we talked about the fact that over the course of the summer, Postecoglou was talking about really kind of focusing on the small details. Now he's established, the kind of way he wants to play. That has to be one of them. And hopefully Saturday was just an issue in terms of the players that were on the pitch. And like you said, the whole defensive unit got a lot more solid and a lot better when, it was, how nice was it to actually see, and obviously Porro didn't play in the second half. Actually, I think staying away from the set pieces for a sec, in terms of defence, we haven't seen that back four all season, or all pre-season. And we only saw Porro, Van der Ven, Romero and Udogie play 15 times together last year. So that is a massive part of it. And things just looked a lot more solid when Romero, Van der Ven and Udogie came on. And obviously Archie Gray was fantastic. We'll come on and talk about him a bit more. But yeah, it's just, I do think, hopefully that makes me think that they have really worked on it, but it's just a personnel thing. But it can't carry on because I love Ange and I love Ange Ball and I love what we're doing. And like I said, I think in terms of footballing development, in terms of the way we want to play, we are ahead of where they were. But what they've done to close that gap to Man City over the last few years is those marginal gains that make such a massive difference. And set pieces, being able to defend them and attack them is one of those, and it shouldn't be. It's a basic of football, and it's absolutely ridiculous that we've not been able to.
Of football.
Yeah, it was. You shouldn't be going into games every time you get a corner thinking we're going to concede it. It's just pathetic.
No. We have got that nastiness in us as well. I mean, do you remember when we played? Sorry, I keep going fucking back to Arsenal now, but remember we sort of switched that on halfway through the game, and it worked in our favour. When Romero was just going around fucking clattering everyone, he was pushing up so high up the pitch, just smashing Richarlison. Well, yeah, Gary Neville was like, "Oh, he's elbowed him. He's off. He didn't. He just barged into Gabriel, and it was just like, fucking
come on, man.
Yeah, it was like that. We have that in us, and I actually really want. There's a fine line between going over the top like the Chelsea game and that, but we have got it in us to be that little bit more aggressive, and I think that will sort of bleed into set pieces as well. But
that's why Romero I think is so important to us just generally, because it's like I've said it for ages, he's our most important player. I think he sets the tone in terms of that aggressiveness, that front-footed, not just in terms of his defense. Like you see him clattering into tackles on Saturday. He's only been back in the country 2 minutes. You know, going up when Lancashire had that bit of an argy-bargy straight in there, and it's like you need that. You do need that, and that's why like a lot of people want him to be the captain, which I don't think is a fair conversation to have around Sonny, but you can see why people make that argument. And even just like the aggressiveness to get up the pitch and play on the halfway line and back yourself and be press resistant with the passing, comfortable playing that from the back. Aggression isn't it sounds obvious, but it's a mindset, isn't it? It's not just a thing of clattering into people. You know, I'm going to fucking smash into a few people.
Yeah, it's just to make me feel better. Yeah.
It's not just that. It's a mindset. And that's what Romero has that I think maybe some of the players in the squad lack. I don't think that's fair on everyone, but it's aggression in terms of your attacking. It's aggression in every action you do. Commit to it. It's more, I think that's the word, commitment. It's more commitment than aggression. And I think that's what Romero embodies. And that's what some players need to just back yourself that little bit more. We're a fucking good team. Just act like it.
Yeah. But aggression is being on the front foot, and I think there people get mixed up with aggression and being erratic. He's not, and you see how much composure just being on the front foot, having someone who is always forward thinking, who actually epitomizes Ange Postecoglou on the pitch. You know how 100%. Everyone was saying Jordan Henderson is Klopp on the pitch. I think Romero is that for us. He's Postecoglou on the pitch, being on the front foot, and
setting the tone.
You saw it on Saturday, setting the tone. Yeah, every time you get on the ball. Also, what the fuck did that 18-year-old kid do to him? Did he insult him and his family and his kids?
Yeah,
he was like, fuck off. He didn't even do anything. This 18-year-old kid was like, why'd I get picked on? Yeah. I wasn't even driving.
Yeah. Like a piece of bacon.
It was mental. I was loving it. I was like, yes, I fucking miss watching Romero because he just, I don't know, it installs fear in the opposition. You'd fucking hate to play against him, but also every pass was perfect through the lines into that half space for the players on the turn, and playing out for the back, we just looked so much more calm, and we won that second half 1-0. So clean sheet for him. But and Kane come on, and obviously Kane had a couple. He had a go at Kane as well. He had a little late. He left one late on Kane. I reckon he was Romero. I think Romero was a bit thinking, "Fuck off," thinking you can too good for us. Yeah, you fucker.
Come back to our house.
But, yeah, and trying to score. Yeah. But I fucking love Romero, and if we're gonna start being a bit more of a nasty team, he's gonna be fundamental. But talking about we talked a little bit about Arsenal. How fucking cringy was that Arteta thing, getting them all at a meal and hiring pickpockets. First of all, I want to see the setup, because how fucking stupid are they? Wouldn't they question why there's just random blokes walking around the table all the time?
Yeah.
Or were they in disguise, or were they waiters or something?
Yeah. The thing I want to know is, why has he got criminal connections?
Yeah, fucking lock him up.
No one asking questions about that? Like, how's he know these people? I know he's a dodgy piece of shit anyway, but
fucking hell, mate. It's so cringy though. It's like, always stay on the alert, guys. Always stay. I reckon can you hear that? Is that pinging in my computer?
No.
Oh, sorry. I keep getting texts. Oh, my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I don't even get that.
Your phone's blowing up.
I reckon he fucking breaks into his players' houses. And his the players are like asleep. Say, I don't know, Declan Rice is sleeping with his girlfriend like in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the night, and Arteta just wakes him up. He's like, I just broke into your house. Always stay alert. Always check. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like he's a fucking weirdo. Yeah. He's so fucking weird. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know.
Arsenal players going to
like
training. Anyone else get broken into last night? Anyone else just see some Spanish man like just come into the house and so weird. Like,
he does look like a villain as well.
Yeah. Like that picture of him in the shower where he's just basically like he was melting. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Someone's in the shower and he's just there, just like I just unpicked your lock. Always
I'm fucking in, guys.
Yeah. He's a fucking weirdo, mate. Yeah, he's a fucking
also,
weirdo.
I want to talk about something else about with Arsenal as well. This fucking oh my god, right? I'm just gonna... There was a tweet yesterday from some football account. I don't know who they are. Is this the best football anthem to ever exist? Arsenal's The Angel, popularly known as North London Forever. No, it's not. It's literally not.
It's fucking so cringy, mate.
It's so fabricated because they didn't have. I saw a tweet. Sorry, I just want to get up a tweet that absolutely nailed it. And I couldn't have said it better myself. I don't know if I can find it now. But they think it's like it's just fabricated, like because they knew they didn't have an anthem to define themselves with. They made this up to feel like, oh, we need to have our own like what's it? All right, this was it. One of the most manufactured and unauthentic chants that was created out of sheer desperation as their fans realised their team were finally good again, but didn't have a song associated with them. That is literally bang on word for word exactly why they did that. Like he's fucking cringy. You've got this guy going pie and mash and liquor. It's like you're not from the East End, you bellend. Like it's unbearable.
You saw in their like documentary. I didn't watch the documentary, but the clips from it. It's so clear that Arteta. Did you? Was it good or bad?
It was funny because they fucking bottled it, didn't they? To us.
Oh yeah, I actually watched the last episode where they bottled it. I did watch that one, but it was so clear that Arteta had penis envy over "You'll Never Walk Alone." Like he was so like and creating that. He just fucking copies everything. He copies Pep. He copies Arteta. He's not fucking original. He's a bellend. No. Anyway,
they're not enough about definition of plastic.
Yeah, I know, and it sort of bleeds into their fan base as well. It's fucking diabolical institution. So what were the positives against Bayern then? Do you reckon?
Archie Gray was fantastic.
Romero. Yeah, so good, wasn't he?
Gray was unbelievable, and it's like you can tell that. I know obviously we signed him as a midfielder, but it's like you can tell that it's going to take a little while to get him there, like in midfield. And we saw that he obviously struggled in the last couple of games when he was playing that number 6. Excuse me.
Yeah, hang on. Let me stop you there, because Jackie Nicout, what you're saying, Jackie Nicout, who we referred to earlier, he actually asked a question on Twitter. He said, Archie Gray played very well at right back yesterday and was excellent at centre back in pre-season. Anytime he went into midfield, he didn't look comfortable though. Are we likely to see him integrated away from midfield to take pressure off as that 6th role, or is it hard to play? What do you think?
That wouldn't surprise me. But the only way he's going to get integrated is by playing in there. So it's a tough one. I do get it. But again, with more training,
Europa League.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been hard as well because he only really played at centre back because he had to. And if he'd had a whole pre-season playing in a number 6, then things might have been slightly different. And also, I'm pretty sure the first time he started there was against Bayern Munich, right? So it's not. I think he played the second half against Vissel Kobe, maybe in the 6th. And then I think he started against Bayern. So everything was sort of happening around him a little bit. And he's got a lot to learn there. He 100% does. But that wouldn't surprise me if they were like, okay, right, just to get you playing in this system, you're going to come on at right back, you're going to come on at centre back as well. Him at centre back is really not the worst option in the world either in Europe. Like, I would not mind that at all. Would not mind that. People are like, well, do we need to go and buy another centre back? Not for me. I think with Romero, Van der Ven, Dragusin, and then Archie Gray as an option to play there as well, I really don't think it's that bad. But he was amazing. Like, you can see, it's just the like, and again, something that will be able to be transferable into that number 6 position is playing in tight spaces under pressure and moving the ball quickly. And that's what he did so well at right back. But he just looks more comfortable there because he's played. It's like 10,000. The whole saying about 10,000 hours, right? You do something for 10,000 hours, you get there. It's like he played 31 games, I think, out of 40 odd whatever at right back. So it's like, he's naturally, even though he's a midfielder, he's probably just more comfortable there right now. But he's only 18, so that doesn't mean that that's going to change in the future. But mate, I was so impressed with him. So impressed. Like, he stayed a lot wider than Porro. He didn't necessarily invert in the same way that Porro does. He was very much happy to stay by the touchline, but he just knitted things together really, really nicely. Some of his feet were just beautiful. Like, he does that thing so well. Where we saw it in the game against, might have been the first half against Vissel Kobe, where he kind of marauded forward from centre back, and he just shifts the ball like the La Croqueta, like drop the shoulder and shifts the ball between his feet. Does that a lot, gets out of place, and he's able to hold players off as well. He's, when you look at him, like you said earlier about Bergvall and him and Solanke, like the three signings all quite physical. Obviously, looking at Archie Gray, he looks like a boy, doesn't he? He looks quite slight, but he the way he's able to hold players off and win fouls, same as Bergvall, they both do that really well. But I was super, super impressed with him. Who else?
But I think
I remember.
Well, I think that number 6, we'll have to integrate him slowly into the number 6, because think about it, is he's 18 years old. That number 6 is the most vulnerable position on the pitch in our system, and that's why Bissouma. I mean, I think Bissouma's perfect for it in possession, but he looks vulnerable now and again. You saw it against Bayern. I think he had a good game. We'll get into Bissouma off the pitch later, but I thought he had a good game when he played. It's just that one mistake, and it just shows the demand of that number 6. The level of vulnerability is so clear because you're so isolated, and you're the one that starts everything. You have to come so deep. And Gray, for an 18-year-old. When he did play as a 6 for Leeds, he'd play in a double pivot, I think.
Yeah.
This is a whole new ball. This is a whole different ball game because you're completely alone, and you're linking the defense to the midfield or the defense to the attack. So I think that's something to integrate in Europe and maybe Carabao Cup, FA Cup. But I think the right back position is perfect for him because it's mixing the best two positions he showed at Leeds. That number 8 and the right back. Obviously, he played there the whole season. That's why we bought him off the performances from right back, and also we knew how versatile he was. But it's almost like an amalgamation of the two positions, isn't it? That role under Postecoglou. So he's gonna feel more comfortable. I think he would be better as a number 8 at the moment than a number 6.
Yeah,
that sort of box-to-box role, and I think he could grow into a really, really good box-to-box player. But yeah, right back, I just feel like he's more comfortable. Like you were saying, he played the whole last season. It's so familiar to him, and so it's relevant in his mind, sort of thing. It's fresh in his mind, that position. But also, he has the license to come inside, but he didn't really, like you're saying, he hugged the touchline. He did really well. I was really impressed. And his defense, he was decent in defense as well.
Yeah, very good 1-1. Yeah,
he did have Romero next to him, but yeah. But what were you saying? Who are the other positives?
Well, I think what I was going to talk about Bergvall and Bentancur as well, and I think that kind of leads on quite nicely from what you were saying about Bissouma being obviously quite isolated in that 6, and obviously, do you want to put that pressure on Gray right now? But I actually thought in the second half, we talked about this before, and I think when we did the pod last week, we sort of we were looking ahead to the Leicester game and sort of saying, okay, what do we want our midfield to look like? And obviously, this was before this whole fucking stupid nonsense with Bissouma kicked off. And I think we were talking about we want to see like Bissouma and Bergvall in there and Sarr, because it gives you nice balance and fluidity as well, because you've got two players in Bergvall and Bissouma who are happy to drop into that 6th position and rotate and go and collect the ball off the centre-backs and the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And I think what we saw really nicely with Bentancur and Skip, to be fair, who I actually thought had a decent second half.
Yeah, he did have a good game.
Yeah, and Bergvall, is I think there was, I was talking about it on the stream yesterday. I think there was a lot of times in that second half when Vicario had the ball and we were building out from the back, Bentancur and Bergvall would almost both drop in there together as almost like two number 6s to kind of offer another pass. And what the good thing about that is, especially when you've got someone like Bergvall, who is just, again, ridiculous, and he's got eyes in the back of his head. I showed an example yesterday on the stream where you've got Romero and Van der Ven kind of split as those two centre-backs. You've got Gray wide, and a doggy comes into the midfield as well to offer a pass. But you've got Bentancur and Bergvall who both drop in and both offer a passing option. And Bergvall goes that little bit deeper. And with Bergvall, he kind of he baits that press a little bit more. And then you've got, with Bergvall, you wouldn't be surprised if he can just make that little flick pass around the corner to Bentancur, because he's kind of got those eyes in the back of his head. I actually think having Bergvall in there, whether it's alongside Bissouma or whether it's alongside Bentancur, and I actually think, obviously we don't know what's going to happen this week with Bissouma, But from a footballing point of view, I think Bissouma, Bentancur, and Bergvall is a midfield that I think we all want to see now, because I think you've got 3 midfielders there. I saw Simon Yaman tweeted about it on Saturday, and it's like it's the definition of kind of fluidity, isn't it? Like that, you've got 3 players there who are comfortable doing everything, really, other than maybe, Bentancur or Bergvall, you're going to get more out of in the attacking third. But even we saw Bissouma's goal against QPR, so they can all just do a bit of everything. They're also comfortable dropping into that number 6 position, and I think you're far less likely to leave that number 6 position, number 6 role, or whoever is playing in there isolated, if you've got a Bentancur or a Bergvall alongside you, whoever's playing there.
Yeah.
So I think having we've got so many options in midfield now. So like in Europe, if you're playing like Bentancur and Gray there, I think that could be a really nice little balance. And like you said, Gray is that 8, but let him go and get the ball off the centre backs. Let him be that number 6. And like you said, you like Bissouma in possession, but it's more out of possession where sometimes we struggle. But I think Gray's engine, it'd be very interesting to see, going back to Archie Gray, how much he is used there this season. But in terms of adapting to the system in some way, shape, or form at centre back or right back, he's done brilliantly well. But I thought Bentancur was really good. I thought getting minutes into his legs was one of the most important things. And Destiny Udogie, who I thought again just makes a massive difference. He just does.
He
in terms
does.
of balance,
really,
balance
really
of the team. Yeah, he was good. Obviously, Mickey and Romero just solid as per. Really, they had a few chances still by him, but it was much better in the second half. And I thought Bissouma had a good game in that first half. I thought Kulusevski, again, just like I saw Andrew saying after the game that he doesn't see, now he signed Solanke, he basically said, he got asked whether you continue to play Kulusevski through the middle, and he basically said no.
that's my next question, actually. Well, we can get into it, but actually, before we get into that, Bentancur made a massive difference. I loved it. I love seeing Bentancur, and also he's not going to be playing catch up. I know he missed pre-season, but this season he's going to start the season at the same time as everyone else. He's not going to be playing catch up. I think this could be a massive season. And he has had
football over the summer.
He has. He's not rusty. Yeah.
No, I was worried about Bentancur going into the season. Obviously, the whole off the field stuff, and it's just there is that hanging over him a little bit, and everything kind of on that has already been said, but. Also, just in terms of like where we want to go with the midfield signings as well. Obviously, Gray and Bergvall coming in and stuff, and it's like you actually forget that. I think it's very easy to forget that when he actually plays and when he's at full tilt, kind of like we were all gagging to see him back last year, and it's because when he is on it, he's our best midfielder. He is so our best midfielder. And it's just like I did a big thing on him yesterday on the breakdown. It's like nothing outstanding, but it was just like great anticipation to win the duels, get in there. Very hard he has to make a tackle. It's just like he reads the game so well and gets there first. It's always those little, like Bergvall does that as well. Bergvall never really has to fly into tackles because it's like, I'm gonna get there. It's that little poke to win the ball back. Bentancur does that really well. It's just he knits things together like 1-2 passing, just doesn't hold on to the ball for too long. Like he's just such a lovely midfielder. Really, really lovely. And I think him and Bergvall together I thought was superb. When Bergvall went down and it looked like we'd maybe killed our new signing, I was genuinely panicked because it was just like, how does this happen to us? Does anybody actually know? Did he swallow chewing gum?
What was he choking on? Yeah, I don't know.
Because I was at the game, so I didn't really see. I was down the other end, so I couldn't really see it. And then like the group chats were going mad saying, has he like swallowed a fly or something? Maybe chewing gum. Probably chewing gum.
Yeah, probably chewing gum. Yeah, I don't know. But it was mental because he looked like serious. Yeah. Like, he couldn't breathe. It was mental.
It takes ages to come out in your poo as well if you swallow chewing gum.
Apparently it's like 7 years or something. But I know what you mean. Like the fluidity, the elegance, the physicality, and the pressing, and the sort of technical competence of that midfield three of Bergvall, Bentancur, Bissouma. Because I think I was worried, will Bergvall be physical enough? Yes. I mean, he was the amount of times he won the ball back to us, for us, that core strength is ridiculous. His footballing brain and intelligence is obviously there. And he's a really good presser, but I think Paul O'Keefe said on the last word on Spurs, he said what he's understanding is that in training they're trying to drill into him not to take too many touches. He's taking a little bit too many touches, and he needs to know when to pass, when to take the touches, and etc. From the eye test, I feel like they should be fucking saying that to James Maddison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like everything ticked a lot more. And I mean, I know he had Bergvall next to him. Fucking Bergvall next to him. Bentancur next to him. Yeah, and yeah, Bentancur was brilliant, and I think a lot of people forgot how good he actually is. Bentancur.
Yeah. I think Bergvall is going to be one of those players that they love playing with as well because they know they can trust him.
100%.
It's going to be 100%. Gray will be like that as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so talking about Kulusevski, because you referred to it, the Ange came out saying that he sees Kulusevski centrally, but like in the advanced state more or out wide on the right, but not centre forward. Now we've got Solanke.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Because obviously he's had a really good pre-season playing up front or false nine or getting in behind. He's done a bit of everything up front. And where do you see him predominantly this season? Like, how big is this season for him as well to really get that backing from the fans? Because I think he split opinions last season.
Yeah, he did. But I think one thing that everybody can appreciate with him is how hard he works and the fact that he's not the perfect winger for the way we want to play. He's just not. But that's not for the want of trying. And then when he does come into that number 10 position, you can see that confidence actually come back into him. The link-up play with some of the assists in pre-season before he got moved to play through the middle as a striker. And then playing as a striker, he scored 3 goals in 3 or 4 games. So it's, that confidence is clearly there with him. And I think you can see that. That's like the way even like, that sounds stupid, but like you could see the way he was celebrating the goals on Saturday. It's like it is a big relief almost for him to like, I'm proving myself. And like, I know I've had people doubt me. It was interesting that Ange said, when he was asked about it, he said attacking midfield first, didn't he? He said,
that was it. Yeah.
He said, I see him as like, I'll try and find the full quote, but he was like, basically said that he sees him as an attacking midfielder or a winger. Maybe I'm reading too much into that.
No, I think so. I think that's his position. Even Kulusevski's alluded to it over in pre-season that he's been predominantly playing centrally in trainings. And I think the money we spent on Solanke, we're going to get into the actual sign of Solanke in a minute. I mean, 60 mil, that was what was rumoured that Eze would cost. And I feel like that attention sort of switched to the striker because I don't think we're going to get Eze. And I think Kulusevski is going to be that sort of backup number 10 almost. I think. And also, sorry, I remember what you were saying because I've completely cut you off. But imagine how good is obviously the non-negotiable for Postecoglou is pressing. And that attacking 8 joins the striker and they press as a 2 and they're the furthest forward pressers and they go man for man for the centre backs. How effective would it be having Kulusevski and Solanke, those 2 pressing first and leading the line in a press? I mean, that's scary knowing the numbers and the data going into it of how effective they are as pressers, both of them, and also the physical specimens running at you as well. They're massive and they do overturn the ball a lot. But what were you saying? Sorry.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like in terms of when you look at those 2 as a pair, it's not just the work rate and the positions because I thought against Bayern in that first half, I thought our press was actually really disjointed. And I thought they found it really easy to play through us. And I think you still got 3 players that, especially Kulusevski. And look, I mean, it was a pre-season game, so they're not going to play with the same intensity that they would in a Premier League game. But I think Kulusevski was our hardest working presser. But where he's not playing in his position, he probably doesn't know quite exactly what to do, even though he was working really hard. But sometimes that running around can actually kind of leave those gaps a little bit. But if you've got Kulusevski and Solanke, there's those furthest 2 forward pressers. I think that can create havoc for teams trying to play out against us. Yeah. Because like you said as well, they're intimidating. It's not like you've got, someone like Son, right? It's like you put Sonny down as a really good presser. He works hard. He's wily. He's going to run at you. He's not going to leave you alone. But if you've got Solanke and Kulusevski coming at you when you're trying to play out from the back, like Muller was doing it really well against us. And because he's that presence, that kind of profile, that big player, it does make a bit of a difference. Like that's where, that obviously that second goal comes from him kind of shutting down that pass from Bissouma to Davis. So yeah, I think you're completely right. Yeah. I think as well, I think people have almost already forgotten how many games we're going to have to play next year. So like, Kulusevski might not be a guaranteed starter in the Premier League, but over the course of the season, he will get plenty of minutes in all competitions. And like I said, I think he's one of our most kind of undervalued, important players that doesn't really get the kind of respect they deserve for some of the sacrificial things they do off the ball. But he's been excellent in pre-season. He's been excellent. And I think I probably would still start him on the right wing over Johnson next Monday. against Leicester, because again, I think that means that then you can kind of join up Solanke and Kulusevski there.
Yeah,
and kind of let them press from the front together as well. And I don't think it's going to be a massively, Leicester aren't exactly, well, they might do, but it might not be the game for Johnson in the sense there might not be that space. And obviously Johnson's pre-season hasn't exactly been the most fruitful. So it'd be interesting to see what it does. But I think you're totally right on Kulusevski. I think he's going to have a massive part to play for us across all competitions.
Yeah. I feel like that right wing spot, we're desperate for someone who's that 1v1 specialist, was Kulusevski isn't, but I think, like you're saying, he's unbelievably versatile, so effective in the way that we press, the work rate. We need those types of players. And I mean, it's always said on the overlap, and Man United, like Fergie legends, always talking about it on there of the importance of players that when they don't always start, but when they play, they give everything as if they are permanent starters. And that's what Kulusevski is. And same as Richarlison, actually. It's about building a squad that they're the most important players in your team, because when they come on, they play like they've been playing the whole time, and there's no drop off. And Kulusevski, I think I would play him right wing against Leicester, because he's in that period of form where everything's working for him. That first touch is incredible. There was a moment where he was on the byline. He'd just been put to right wing after playing up front the whole game. First time, the first touch as that right winger, it comes to him. He controls it. He bounces it off his foot and sends the defender the other way. And then he's on his bike. And I feel like when Kulusevski's in a bad patch of form, that never works for him. But when he's on it, that always comes off, and it almost looks accidental. But I think he means it. It's just, I think a lot of Kulusevski, it's up there in his head. And
I think so.
And I think he is a form player. But I know what you're saying. Like with Son, and okay, he is a good presser. But there's a lot of players that look like they're pressing and do press. But everyone could look like, I could run on the pitch and look like I'm pressing. But it's the efficiency in the press. There's certain players that just have it. Kulusevski has it. Solanke has it. Muller, like you're saying with Muller, they know exactly the timings, everything is perfect. You see, there's people that press, they look like that like they're frailing about, they look like headless chickens. But no, Kulusevski's got the efficiency. So I think that'll be a massive part in our system. Solanke and Kulusevski sort of leading the line from those central positions. And I've loved Kulusevski. And also, we saw against Man City that formation that does work. And Kulusevski, if we can get if Solanke or Richarlison and Son or Johnson, or maybe whoever we bring in as that winger, we could have them leading the line, and then Kulusevski in the false nine for certain games, and it works. We know that works, so that could be a plan B. So I just think he offers you so much when it comes to sort of like setting up for games and what type of like formation you want to play, etc., like that.
I also think that Solanke is a lot better than. Sorry, I was going to say. I also think Solanke is a lot better at drifting into the wide channels than Richarlison is. So that can actually allow some of that space for Kulusevski to drift inside as well. Because Solanke's a lot better in behind than Richarlison. So if you do decide to play the ball over the top, go long, Solanke will run that into the channels for you. And that allows that space for Kulu to come inside and do his best work, I think. A bit like Kane. Kane did that a lot.
Yeah, and that front three just clicked, didn't it? Kane, Son and Kulusevski. So what are your thoughts on Big Dom then? Your YouTube video was unreal.
Thank you,
that did very well, didn't it?
It did, 26k views now. It's nuts.
That's ridiculous. That's so good. Crazy. So how significant do you think this signing will be if, like, looking back at the end of the season? If you were to look back at the end of the season in 12 months or less than 9 months and looking at this signing as a whole, how significant do you think it is in where we finish or where we end up this season?
I think it's massive for Tottenham, because I think that he's proven, and you don't want to give him the kiss of death, because it always happens with Spurs players where we say that they don't ever get injured, they play every single game, and then the first game he plays for Tottenham, he gets injured. But his record shows you that he's incredibly durable. He lasts across the course of the season, which is going to be massive. Look, Richie, we all love Richarlison, and it looks like he's staying now, which is great. And I actually think that the Solanke signing on top of that, Solanke would be a good enough signing on its own, but to have them both together to compete with each other and actually have two different options that are actually, they're quite similar in profile, but they are going to offer you different things. I think it's a brilliant signing. Did you know he's the most expensive signing of the transfer window in Europe so far?
Yeah, mental, isn't it?
Mad,
that is mental. Like, and you know what?
We've got the target the manager actually wants. That's the
thing.
That's
what I was just saying. Yeah, we've backed him. We've spent a lot of people will question it, but what that sort of motto is: if Ange wants him, I want him. He's his main target. He's been very open. That's his main target. We've gone and spent a lot of money on him, so we are backing Postecoglou. It shows. Sorry.
He like I said in the video and like we've spoken about in the podcast, he's the best pressing centre forward in the Premier League. He works incredibly hard. He drops deep, links play. He's kind of the complete package as a striker, really. And again, we've talked about the whole one good season things. We don't really need to go into that now. It's like he's our player. Back him. Let's go. And I think he's at the right club now to kind of go up to that next level. And I think it's a really significant signing because, like you said earlier, you can't replace, like in the context when I'm talking about Harry Kane, you can't replace Harry Kane. But with two genuine options as number 9s now, that's the closest we've kind of come to that. So, I'm really excited about Solanke. Hopefully, can slot straight in on Monday next week. And I'm really, really happy with it. I'm really, really happy with it.
Yeah, me too. Obviously, we covered this on the last step before he was actually sealed, and now he is. So that, I mean, one down, 2 to go, possibly. Obviously, we'll get into the right wingers in a minute, and maybe that third signing. But I think the most important factor of this deal was the desire from both. So I feel like Lucas Bergwall, fucking sorry, my throat. The desire from Solanke and Ange as well is so. It was put out there from so many different outlets that they were both desperate to work together, and Solanke was desperate to join Spurs. Postecoglou was desperate to have him, and I feel like that'll do him the world of good for hitting the ground running straight away because he'll feel so wanted, and also this is what Solanke wants, and that will give him that boost and that sort of settling in period. It'll make everything just a lot easier. I think it's just like the perfect fit all round. On to Richarlison then. Because I mean, this was amazing. I think a lot of people were getting on it. Like it was clear he didn't want to go to fucking Saudi Arabia. Like it was so clear he didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. And how many times has he come out and said, "I'm staying in England," or not true. This ain't true.
I do not want to go.
I know, yeah. And then people were like, "Well, he'll change his mind." And they'll throw the bag at him. He'll change his mind. Well, no, because Richie's come out and said, he's saying he's staying. He's not going to be on the move now. He said the money was big, but my dreams are bigger. And I'll tell you what, Ben, my cock's getting bigger reading that quote. Because because that is exactly what you want. You want a set of players that are going to want to play for the badge, want to play for and he does. He epitomizes that type of player. That plays, wears his heart on his sleeve, and you need players like that in your team. You need that desire, and he also posted a pic on his Instagram story, didn't he, of saying that like this is my home. It's just you just love to see it. But how much of a key part will he play next season? Because I know he's not always fit, but I kind of think Richarlison could be like our Chicharito or Hernandez for Man United. That chaos in the box, chaotic presser, hard worker, plays like their life depends on it when he plays. And when he's brought off on the bench, I feel like he's the perfect player to come on and cause havoc after them having to deal with Dominic Solanke for 60 odd minutes, and he will get starts in Europe. He'll be a massive player for Europa League, I think. How significant or how much of a key part is he going to play in our season next year?
A big part, and I think like what you said there about Chicharito, it kind of links in with what you were saying earlier about Man United and Ferguson, kind of having those players that they are the most important players in your squad. Players like that who are just ready to come on and make that kind of impact, especially over the course of a season where you're playing European football, and not just European football, but Europa League football. It's a long old season potentially, so I think he'll play a massive part in that, and I think he knows that. And Ange's quotes after the, I think in the press conference on Friday, where he was sort of like, "Well, this is all news to me about him kind of being seen as a surplus to requirements and stuff," which is great because his manager has come out and publicly backed him as well.
Yeah, said that, he needs that.
He said that we obviously hadn't signed Solanke by that point, but he was obviously alluding to it because he said we want to sign a striker, and he said it's not just about replacing; it's about building a squad that can compete over the season. I think that is something that we haven't actually really had for a long time, and I know we've trimmed down the squad a lot as well, and there's still more business to do in terms of getting players in and out, but there will be a big part to play for Richarlison. And I think it's kind of, in terms of that squad rebuild, it's keeping the quality rather than just a bloated squad of quantity of players that you're not even going to use or there's no value in using. But Richarlison does not fall into that mould at all. And I think he's going to be a big player for Spurs next season. And look, what sort of effect will it have on him? Who knows? I think a lot of people are almost anticipating it's not going to go well for Richarlison, like in the sense of like, oh, I've had people say to me like he's going to throw his toys out the pram, he's going to spit his dummy out, all this kind of stuff. I don't see that. I don't really see that. I think the only thing that's going to hold Richarlison back this season is his injuries. Right? That's the only thing that's going to hold him back. I
agree. I don't understand. I think I don't know whether it's an old-fashioned sort of point of view because there's so much more minutes in every seat. Sorry, fucking hell, I'm having a stroke.
No, man.
There's so many more games to play than 5 years ago. There's so much more minutes that you have to play. There's so much more of a physical demand on the players, I think. So teams always have two strikers. I don't understand. I mean, City have just sold Alvarez. They'll get a replacement in for Alvarez. There's a City winning trophies with Alvarez, Haaland. I'm trying to think. Everyone has like two strikers. So I don't understand why it's such a big deal now that we got like Solanke. I think it's maybe Solanke's price tag. It's almost like a statement like this is the man. But Richarlison was 60 mil as well. So I don't think. I think there'll be plenty of games to sort of go around for Solanke and Richarlison. And that's a good problem to have. It's healthy squad competition, and that's what we haven't had for years, like you were saying, like you alluded to. And I think he'll be such a clutch player for us. I think he'll score some really important goals when it's looking like there's no hope, and he'll come in with a header or a scrappy goal because he's so good at that. Always in the right place, right time, and
Bilbao.
In Bilbao, I can see him doing it. You know that photo of him with the Champions League like player of the game, and he's got like tears in his eyes.
Yeah, I see.
I want to see a photo of that with him in the new kit and just with the Europa League trophy, with him like looking like he's just smoked about 17 zoots. and he did look pleased, didn't he? But I think what was I saying? I don't think I had anything more to say. Oh yeah, did you see that photo of him and Solanke at the game? And someone said like, it looks like a couple of. We were 3-1 down at this point. They were watching us get an absolute dick slap by Vincent Kompany, and they were saying someone said like, oh, they look like two divorced parents at their daughter's wedding. They're both just sat there like, fucking hell. And there's like you can cut the tension with a knife. Like between them, but I don't think it's like that. I think they caught him at the wrong moment. I think it's perfect competition for both of them because games are up for grabs. So moving on to the right winger position, obviously Spurs. Everyone, it was almost like we put all our eggs in one basket. It seemed by the media. I think again, it was never said that we were putting any bids in. Specifically, although apparently we had a meeting where I think it was George Bannister, is it on Twitter? He said that from what he knows that we put a bid of like 45 mil plus skip, which seems quite good. But Chelsea come in, he signed for Chelsea. We've missed out on Neto. I think he's on a lot of money at Chelsea. What are your thoughts on missing out on him?
I think when George Mendes is so difficult to deal with, so he's just going to chase the money and whatever's better for him and his kind of client, as you say, in terms of a monetary sense. But look, like you said, I think the reason it hurt was because we almost after Eze, it's almost like we had put all our eggs in one basket, and it was like because we'd moved on the Solanke deal and done it. It was like right winger, now let's go and get Neto because we'd done that quite quickly. Even though we'd actually been working on Solanke for about 7 or 8 weeks, apparently. It felt like, right, that's the one. Go and do that one now. And then by the time the season starts, you've got Solanke and Neto right there. But Chelsea came in and done it. And, I mean, good luck to him because he'll probably play about 10 games for you next year. So,
Reece James is already fucking out for the season, isn't he?
Exactly. That right-hand side is going to be like a hospital ward. But it's hard because Neto was literally perfect for the way that we wanted to play. But there's other options out there that Spurs can go and get. I'm not gutted about it, but you know, he was one of maybe was he the one? Do you think he was the one?
Well, that's the thing. Like, first of all, I think he really don't suit the Chelsea kit. It looks wrong. It looks like a photo. He really looked like he'd suit the Spurs kit. And I know I'm biased, but there's something about it. He just looked like and he is a bit of a Spurs type player. Him going to Chelsea was like, I could see him in a City kit. I could see him in a Spurs kit. I could see him in a Liverpool kit. He doesn't look like a Chelsea type player. And also, like we were saying earlier, they got so many fucking players. Like, where's he going to play? But again, he's not. He's going to play like 15, 20 games a season and be injured for the rest, because that's his history. And I feel like I was gaslighting myself so much, saying, yeah, I know he's played like 5 games of professional football, but he'll play every game of the season next year. Yeah, something will click. And he's not made of glass. He is. He's made of fucking poppadoms. And he would have been perfect when it comes to that stylistic fit. But I can't remember who said it. I think it was like, we bought Solanke because Richarlison's always injured. So Richarlison's a really good fit for the system. But if you're not fit, you're not it. So why would then we bid 60 mil for Neto? It wouldn't make any sense. Which is true. And I think we were just looking at the stylistic fit and thinking he is perfect though. Maybe we can fix him. Yeah, well, I was on a I was on a stag do, and there was a guy like taking the piss. Nothing happened, but he was going to a prostitute in Marbella, going, "I can fix you." It was
Pedro
like
Neto,
it was like
that was like
us. Yeah, we can fix you if you're injured, even though everyone here is fucking injury prone as well. But so it wouldn't have been a good fit in that way. But yeah, so let's look at it. I mean, in a way as well, it's like if he wanted Chelsea, that's not a good project. He's obviously gone for the money. So if it's a bad move for him, I think. And also, do you want that type of player if he's going to go for the money? And I think it may be in his mind, he's thinking, I'm fucked. I'm injured all the time. Should I just secure the bag and still have that sort of pedigree of playing for a big club? And so maybe it's a good move for him in that from that point of view. But I just think I was sad for a minute, and then I was like, okay, moving on. So moving on, right wing options. First of all, Harry Brooks on Twitter, he's unbelievable, amazing ball knowledge.
Yeah,
he sort of said he's a massive fan of Doué. He's gone to PSG. He sort of said Sancho would be a good fit. I think he would, but I think there's issues there. Maybe he wouldn't fit in the squads. He's had a bit of a bad reputation when it comes to sort of disagreements with and falling outs with managers and stuff like that. I don't know if that package may be a bit too much. Also, his wages are ridiculous.
Yeah.
He also said to sort of test the waters with a bid for like Oscar Bob, which I think is a bit mental. But if you think about Cole Palmer scoring in the I'm on my knees. I feel like if you think about Cole Palmer scoring in the Community Shield last season and then went to Chelsea, it's been done before. City have shown that they do, and for 50 odd mil, that's a steal for Cole Palmer. So how much do you think they charge for Oscar Bob? Thinking about and would you reckon they've learned the lesson from that? I mean, but we'll get into right wing options. But let's talk about Sancho and Bob first, because I thought it was interesting.
I don't hate Sancho. I don't not just generally, but in this instance, I don't. I don't hate the idea of it. I actually don't, because like if you're talking about Neto, it's like, okay, can we fix Sancho? Like I think Sancho at Spurs under maybe that's a pipe dream, and maybe
good environment, it's a good stylistic fit though. Maybe just Ten Hag's transitional football. Him just like it's not a good stylistic fit. He wants to be on the ball, running at a defender, innit?
Yeah, I don't hate
homegrown.
I don't hate it.
Loan.
I was thinking this earlier. To buy for like 30 mil, like 30 mil.
Chuck Regulon in the deal.
Yeah, that was sweet. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. It's telling me it doesn't make sense, but it actually does. Maybe I lost my mind.
Solanke, Son. SSS. Actually, fuck me, SSS. Maybe
it's the SS we need to be worried about.
oh, okay.
Triple S, I think, is all right. I mean, Oscar Bob would be unbelievable, but
that's not realistic, though, is it?
Yeah, like you said, I think they've learned their lesson with Cole Palmer, and I think Bob's potential. They're different sort of players. Maybe Bob's potential is higher than Palmer. It might generally.
But also, you look at Oscar Bob as well. He's just like silky flair. Last season, Cole Palmer. I think when he signed for Chelsea, everyone was just like, yeah. Cole Palmer just don't ooze. He doesn't look like he uses class. He looks like he mouth breathes and snores in his sleep. Yeah, but when he steps on when he steps on the pitch, he is
bro's a nose.
He's magic.
Yeah.
He's taking a deep inhales through his nose. He's a changed man on the pitch.
Cole Palmer plays football with mouth tape. just improve the nose breathing, and that's what makes him a better player. But Oscar Bob, that is like a pipe dream, but it would be unbelievable. Loan? On loan? I'll take Oscar Bob on loan.
I'll take him on a fucking loan. I'll take him on a 6-month loan.
I'll take him on a 2-week loan. Yeah.
I know, but he has a lot of expectation. I mean, there's a lot of competition if we sign another winger for Hyuk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Oscar Bob I think is a bit unrealistic. I've made a list of right wingers. Let's go through them, okay?
Okay.
So, Jackie Nickout is a big fan of him. I've seen this on Twitter on my timeline, and every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, it makes fucking like perfect sense. But he would cost about 80 mil, I think. Paul O'Keefe was saying he's linked with Liverpool for like 80 mil. It's never going to happen. But he would be the stylistic fit that would unbelievable presser, work rate as a joke, really good 1v1, and perfect at that sort of archetype cutback goal. Anthony Gordon, homegrown as well. I think he would be like, oh my god, we're going places. What a signing! But I don't think he'd move. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a Liverpool fan. I feel like that moves in his heart.
Yeah.
But I can't see us ever doing that, especially after spending 60 million on Solanke. The next person is everyone's talking about him, Johan Bakayoko. What you thinking about him?
I like Bakayoko. He's silky. He's strong. He's powerful. He's quick. Likes cutting on that left foot. People are kind of coming out and talking about the whole thing about he said he wants to play Champions League football, but I don't think that necessarily means he wants to play. Well, obviously he wants to, but if Tottenham came in and said, "All right, come and play for us instead of PSV," he'd probably come if no one else did.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's not to put us down, but like Tottenham is still an attractive option. Because it's like, okay, we'll take us to Champions League football. Come and be the guy that does that. Because he was linked with Brent. He was going to go to Brentford last summer. Like that was the thing, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. We
were linked with him as well. It was him or Johnson, and then Brentford as well. It was him or Johnson, and then it fell through. I think he didn't want to go to Brentford. I'm pretty sure.
And we know what it's like with Spurs. It's like if Spurs wanted him last summer under the same, well, other than obviously Lang wasn't there at the time, but the similar recruitment structure and still identifying the same sort of similar profile, because he was obviously very different to Johnson.
Yeah,
that interest will still be there. Like that will still be there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes back up at some point in this window. I do like Bakayoko. I mean, like you said about Anthony Gordon. It makes it worse because we could have signed him 2 years ago.
I know, and it sounded ridiculous with the price tag as well. Everyone was like, "Fuck off!" Like 60 mil. Oh my god, I'd snap your hand off right now and take him for 60 mil. And like you were saying as well, like the durability of him, everything. He is an Ange Ball winger.
It'd be amazing. He would be. He's the best option on the market, 100%. But it's just like you said. I think there's a very good chance that he goes to Liverpool. So we'll see.
Possibly.
But
they need to fund that Gay deal, and he's the sort of player they're sort of tanting about for. But yeah, I mean Bakayoko. The thing is with Bakayoko, he looks perfect. 1v1 specialist, great end product, both feet. He had an underwhelming Euros, but I feel like it's such a gamble trying to get a winger from the Dutch league because you never know. He profiles a lot like Doku, and I was thinking, will Doku take to the Premier League? He did. Like he's a bit inconsistent, but he is quality.
Over time, he will be very good for City.
100%, and he's so young as well.
Second season this year, he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, Bakayoko. I mean, I'm thinking the last two wingers to come out of the Eredivisie off the top of my head, Anthony and Bergwijn. They were they were silky, unbelievable. Like everyone was talking about them. Unbelievable deals. Fucking shit. Yeah. Like that's the thing. And I don't know how to believe the sort of like Eredivisie hype. It's really difficult to judge a player. So I don't know. But I mean, maybe he's worth a punt. I have no idea. But I'd love it. But I just don't. Anyway. Rafinha. We were linked with him before the transfer window.
Last year as
with
well,
Neto by Paul O'Keefe. That he was, we were linked with him before he went to Barca. There was a picture of him, Richarlison, and Son when his career and Brazil played, and it was like, oh, imagine this like front three. That could still happen. We could still have that front three, and that picture will resurface if it does happen. The only thing is, apparently, you don't want to leave Barca. He didn't want to go to Saudi, and he's on like 350k a week. That's the only thing. But again, I think he'd suit the system, and he's another really hard worker. What are you thinking about him?
There's been something about Rafinha.
35 mil.
Yeah, take it. I know you don't want to leave Barca, but did you see, interestingly, that they can't register Dani Olmo because of concerns? I've literally got it right here.
Something's got to happen, mate. Someone's got to make way.
They need to sell some of their current players before they can register new ones. They can't register him yet. So,
okay.
He's a high value asset at Barca. Loan with obligation, something like that. I was a bit cold on Rafinha last summer. I'll be honest. I don't really know why. I don't know why. And then he was getting linked with Arsenal as well. What was it last summer or was it the summer before?
This was 2 summers ago when we signed Richarlison. It was Richarlison or Rafinha, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then but Rafinha did do the rounds again last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He's a bit of a
he's been linked with us for ages.
He's a bit of a slag. Like he's flirting with a lot of teams. I don't know if it's his agent or
probably.
I don't know, but But he's he does look like he is on the market now, though.
Yeah, I've been cold on it. I've been cold on it in the past, but I do think I wouldn't mind it. I don't know, but also I can't justify why I haven't been a massive fan of it. I don't really know why that is, because whenever I used to watch him for Leeds, I thought, "Fuck me, this guy's a player."
He's so good, yeah.
But when it was Rafinha or Richarlison, I was like, "Rafinha, oh my word, Rafinha, please."
Yeah. But he's not like I don't see him as he cuts in quite a lot more than he goes on the right. And again, I feel like a Pascal winger needs to do both. And because you need to get that, if you're going to cut it back to the byline, from the byline, you need to get that spot on. Solanke will be there, but you want to go left and cut in and score because the defenders will have to double up on you in that case. So that's stuff that Brennan Johnson can't do. That we need a winger that can do both and be almost like 2 players in one. Because
you don't want another one, which is what Bakayoko is, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you said,
exactly.
Doku, I think a lot of people with Doku imagine that he wants to test waters with a Doku bid. Who knows? Like with Doku, it's like I think people think he's quite predictable, but he's actually really not. And actually, I think sometimes with those kind of wingers, because you know what they're going to do, that almost makes them more unpredictable because he's got that explosive pace.
Yeah.
Even with like Kulusevski, who doesn't have that pace in his armory. But yeah, I think he'd be one of those. If we signed him, I'd be happy, but he wouldn't be my first choice. But I can't really tell you why. It's I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know why I'm. I don't know. I don't know why I'm cold on him.
Do you think it's like he's been about for a while now, and it's like you want that link where it's like, fuck, he hasn't actually been at any club that I've seen him play properly, but I know he's a good player, like a Bakayoko. Like, I'm excited to see him now take that step up and sort of announce himself. I don't know, but I'm gonna just chuck some names at you then.
Yep.
Vinicius Junior, Kvaratskhelia. Do you think they'd be decent for us?
I think it'd be. To be fair, you say that, but I don't think Kvaratskhelia is that unrealistic.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, Napoli.
They'll sell Osman, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
they're in the mud.
They finished 9th last year or whatever it was. Like, if Tottenham
go the right,
probably not. Maybe played through the middle at the Euros, didn't he? For Georgia, played as a striker, sort of.
Yeah.
I think he could play on the right. I want to play on the left. I wouldn't mind Kvaratskhelia.
I feel like this is what the board's doing right now. We're literally sat down. We got a list on notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going through the wingers out there. Chuck Wazy, yes or no? Just like if what you would be like, okay, he's the one. Chuck Wazy.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
Fucking hell, started the expectations low.
Yeah, no.
You just want to sign him.
Yeah, please.
Madueke. You've been a bit of an advocate for him.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. People have said about Madueke's attitude and stuff in the past, and obviously he left Tottenham before. I think he'd be quite a decent fit. I wouldn't mind that. Obviously, Chelsea are trying to actively sell him now as well because they've brought in
João Felix.
And Sterling as well. It's just absolutely mental.
Sterling? Joking, actually.
Would you? Would Sterling? I wouldn't.
Fuck
Actually, no, yeah, fuck no.
No, I wouldn't fucking Sterling 5 years ago, yeah. Wouldn't go near him now.
Not with his big dump truck.
Rodrigo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People were saying get him at the beginning of the season when Mbappe was first going around Madrid. I mean, it's never going to happen. He'd never go to fucking Spurs at this moment in time. Mbappe, yeah, maybe just try and get him on a loan. Good Kubo and Bayern Gittins.
I like Kubo. I think Kubo could be an interesting one. I like his celebration when he did
Vange before.
Yeah, he did.
Like the little twerk.
Yeah. Did he work with Vange before? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he worked when Ange was playing in Japan, coaching in Japan. I can't remember what the actual team is. It's left my head. But Kubo went on loan there when he was a teenager. There's a photo of Kubo, Ange with like a proud dad with his arms out on the touchline. Kubo running to hug him, and they embraced because he was like 17 and he scored.
Recreate that for the announcement vid.
Yeah.
I like Kubo. I do like Kubo. I'm surprised there hasn't been more links to him, to be honest.
He's got a 60 mil release clause though, and I think Real Madrid have a buyback on him as well. I think there's a bit of like you don't know if you want to go there, but it's tempting.
Yeah, I like it.
But I think that's Bayern Gittins would be a really good move again as well. But again, is he ready made now, or is it more of a let's give him a couple of years? I feel like we just need that player to just come in and be that catalyst. Bang,
Rashford.
Let's go. Rashford to the celly. Yeah, maybe there's some wingers out there that we could just test the waters with, like that are about. I don't know, like Gordon. I just think Gordon would be perfect, but it's just never going to happen. Moving on then. So we've narrowed it down to 5 players or so, and then Parachi and Lange can do the rest.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you're Lange and Parachi. Who are you going for a winger? Is it something we haven't said before? Let's get on to a couple of things before we end it, because we've been on quite a while. Bissouma.
Yeah.
What a fucking
idiot, man. It's just so dumb. So dumb. It's just like, I kind of the belief before of like, if players want to do stuff like that, it's like, fair enough, like whatever. It's not great for you, but whatever. But to do it and then film yourself and put it on Snapchat, that's like you're a 28-year-old or what, 27, 28-year-old using Snapchat as well, by the way. That's what could be the worst bit
you're
about
a grown man. Yeah,
grow up.
Yeah. Why do you even have Snapchat now?
Yeah, exactly, you weirdo. Like, it's just really stupid, Because I said this on a stream this morning. Like, I feel like he's had enough kind of not second chances at Spurs, but like, Ange wanted him to be a leader in this team, and I feel like he's not really repaid that consistently enough anyway in terms of his performances, but in terms of his behaviour like this, and I think he's just letting the manager down.
Yeah, big time. I think it's dumb. Have you ever done laughing gas?
No,
because I have, and I'll tell you what, it turns you into a temporarily fucking vegetable, and it kills it like stops the oxygen from getting to your brain, so it just kills a bunch of brain cells. So if I see Bissouma not tracking his fucking runner,
I know why,
and or switching off and letting someone run in behind him on the blind side, I'm gonna be really pissed off because this ain't helping.
The thing is, he fucked it for himself because he was like, he had to work hard to get the fans. Actually, he didn't have to work that hard to get the fans on side because he just performed really well at the start of the season. But I feel like the threshold for the patience with him is just getting lower and lower and lower because you know how good he can be. He's like Ndombele, that's kind of getting like that. Where it's like, you know how good he can be. That's what makes it more frustrating. But people's patience with him wore quite thin last season anyway when he went on that terrible run of performances and getting the red cards against Luton and stuff like that. After how high he set the bar, so that patience is going to get even thinner now. It's just so ridiculous. Yeah,
it does not help him, does it? Yeah, he's such a divided player, and even his biggest supporters, you can't back that. You've put it on Snapchat. You're doing something as an athlete. You should not be doing it. I don't even think it's banned. You shouldn't even be doing it anyways. Like it's horrible. It has horrible effects in that. And I just think, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? Moving on to Mikey Moore. Let's move on to a positive.
Yeah,
Mikey Moore signed a new contract. How happy is that make you feel?
Yeah, class. I think it's a
have
3-year.
That City, have that United, fucking trying to fucking steal our star
mugs.
boy. Yeah.
No, I'm really happy. It's like, you know, he I think it's a 3-year deal which turns 5 year. It turns to 5 years next year when he turns 18, I think. He's done a really good interview apparently, which I haven't seen yet because we've been recording.
Yeah, really good, mate. Comes across so well.
Yeah,
I've never even heard him speak before.
No, neither have I. And he's literally just turned 17. So, you know, that it literally turned 17 on Sunday. So yeah, I'm buzzing with that. And I think, like I said, I think he's going to play a big part. I do think he's going to play a big part this season for us. Well, Europa League, Premier League minutes, he's obviously ready for that. He came on Saturday, he got a good half hour, I think it was. I think it was very clear on Saturday, just to kind of go away from the Mikey Moore point a little bit, but it does kind of is relevant to him, who Ange wants to keep around and who doesn't, because Solomon didn't get on the pitch. Lo Celso wasn't even on the squad, and you've got Mikey Moore and Will Lancashire coming on and getting a good half hour and 15 minutes each for them two. So yeah, I'm buzzing with it. Actually managed to secure the future. We've let a lot of these kind of players go in the past, but we're not making that mistake again. And obviously we fast-tracked for that reason. So buzzing with it.
He showed little spells from like in the Bayern game, because obviously that's a much higher opposition.
Yeah.
But
I think he found it quite hard to get into the game, but he was always trying. Like he wasn't hiding, which is the thing that was most impressive. Him and Lancashire, actually, both of them. Neither of them hid at all. They were both like, right, give me the ball, let's try. And it might not have come off especially for Mikey, might not have come off for him as much, but he didn't shy away against, top opposition, top men. So he was great.
What do you think of him, like squaring up to Coleman and that? Do you like that element of him? And do you think it's like, I like it as well. He's another one. He just wears it out on his sleeve. He's a bit of nastiness. I feel like we need. I don't know if he's gonna now and again, like remember Dele Alli had that and he got sent off in the Champions League, and there's little little moments that he may have as he sort of like matures. But I mean, wow, how have we got him at his age? Just like we've got like a Foden, a Rooney. I really think that.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's so exciting. And so the last question, we got a question from Aaron Corrington on TikTok, who says, what would you want for the midfield lineup against Leicester, and how do you think and will line up?
Well, kind of prior to that the Bissouma news, I think I probably would have gone with Bissouma, Bentancur, and Bergvall, to be honest. But I think it'll probably be Maddison, Sarr. Look, I don't know how hard he's going to come down on Bissouma. I still think there's a world in which he probably plays on Monday.
Do you think Ange sort of just lets him off the hook? I really all that. There's been a few things that it's just actually the only thing is that there's been a few things this season with this preseason with our players that you're like, what you do? How many times have we been like, what are you doing like off the pitch? Like
one normal day of Tottenham
have a bit of
Hotspur
control. Yeah, that's all I ask. Yeah, you're like, just have a bit of fucking self-control about yourself, or like, why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? And I mean, if we ban Bissouma, we've got to ban like Bentancur, or do you know what I mean? There's like, where do you draw the line of for punishment? Do you sort of go about things in I don't know. It's a bit of it's a fine line of But how I just feel like he should at least skip this game because it's so close to the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Ange will, but I can't imagine Ange liking that.
Yeah, I think it's been very interesting to see how they deal with it. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think it's gonna. He's not gonna like it. But I don't know. I think there's still a world in which he maybe starts. But I would. And if you take that away from it, I think he probably should. Like in terms of the balance in the midfield and stuff. I think he's actually had quite a good preseason, but I think you can't ignore that.
But he is pretty vital to the way we play, though, isn't he? He is pretty good. Yeah. He is good he's the best number 6 we have in that position, I think. I know Bentancur played well there yesterday, or Saturday, but again, going from last season, Bissouma was vital for the way we played. So do you tell him off behind the scenes? Maybe you just do that. Really punish him, but really have a go at him behind the scenes, but still show the faith in him on the pitch. And actually, I think Bissouma's the type of character that would appreciate that much more than just straight up dropping him. Because I think Bissouma is a confidence player. You need to install that belief in him.
And we kind of saw that last year with the whole thing of being late to training after Ange said that I want you to be a leader and all this kind of stuff. And then that's true, yeah. And then I think you saw that reflect in the performances in pre-season and in early season. So I think, like, you're right. I think maybe the best way to deal with it is for Ange to have a fucking right go at him.
Yeah.
But say, look, it's been dealt with internally and just not really say anything and just move on. That might be the best way to go about it.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, because you can't like then go hard on him and then not like go hard on Bentancur. Like it's dealt with behind the scenes, and then let them just keep playing on the football pitch, and they'll learn their lesson elsewhere, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, perfect. Ben, you're a legend. Everyone that got their comments in, thank you so much.
Thanks,
I think. Yeah, honestly, it's been amazing. The interaction has been incredible. Don't forget to subscribe or follow on the podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, etc.
Yeah.
I think we are going to be trying to get to more platforms platforms in the near future. We're going to look into that. But everyone, all legends, thank you so much for the lovely comments, interactions, and we'll catch you next time for the Leicester preview, Ben.
Oh yeah.
Starting the season, mate. I can't wait.
Wait, we're
buzzing.
We are back. We're back.
We're back.
I'm back. Brother. I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, no, we'll be back before the Leicester game. So we'll have I know we'll probably know a lot more all about this stuff by then. So we'll be very interested. We'll do our team and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Legends. All right. Catch you later. Enjoy the sun.